Proud to present YCIAA Basketball 88. Tonight's game from Millersville University is state playoff action, Eastern against Middleburg. YCIAA Basketball 88 is being brought to you tonight by Health, the Carpet Man. Hello once again, everybody, from Millersville University. Kevin Drumball along with my partner Craig Smith. And the district trail is over. Now we hit the state trail. We brought 2 district championships home to York County, one of them by this team behind us, the Eastern Golden Knights. And Craig, Eastern is fresh off of that district title. Could they be a little bit flat tonight?
The first round of states is probably the toughest. This is the round that the Eastern Golden Knights got knocked out of contention last year. Everybody thought that they could go at least 2 or 3 rounds deep in states with the team that they had last year. The first round proved to be disastrous. I think with the maturity of this ball club, they're going to be able to come in tonight and establish themselves early. But remember, this is a team that has characterized itself as a second-half ball club. So even if they don't get off to quite the kind of start they're looking for, there's always a second half for Eastern.
Mark Eckert said in the paper this morning he didn't know a whole lot about this team because he couldn't find a lot out on Sunday after the district championship. But we have been able to compile some things. And one of the things that we know is that Middleburg is a well-balanced team, better balanced than Columbia was the other night.
Extremely balanced. Obviously, we saw Whistler score 42 the other night, second highest total in District 3 action in AAA. This team comes in tonight with 2 seniors, 1 junior, sophomore, and tremendous balance in terms of their scoring. They have 4 scorers that are in double figures, led by Tim Lewis, a 6-foot junior, averaging 19 points a ball game. I would much rather face a team with a guy that's a high scorer and everybody else is in single digits than a team that has 4 scores in double figures. So it's going to put the defensive pressure on all the players of Eastern, and certainly they have some key ones, including Knob and Riekert, who did an excellent job on Saturday night, and Riekert in particular in that 4th quarter against Whistler.
The other thing to mention about Middleburg is that their whole starting team is smaller than the Eastern front line.
Well, they're smaller, but they're deceptively smaller. By that I mean they're all smaller, but they're all over 6 feet. So they have nice balance. Their tallest player is 6 feet 2 inches tall. And with that kind of lineup, you can, if you block out well, you can create some problems on the offensive and defensive boards. But as I've said so many times before, for my money, give me Ryan Smith. If I can't have Jenkins, give me Ryan Smith for offensive rebounding.
As the clock winds down here and Eastern gets set to take on Middleburg, what about the Golden Knights in the state playoffs?
I think they're going to do very well. I think at the AA level, they have just the right amount of height. They have their nice mix of experience. I think the one thing that's been overlooked, we've mentioned it casually, but the one thing that's been overlooked over the last couple of weeks is the maturing of Abel at the point. You alluded to it towards the end of the game the other night, but I think that's made a big difference because we know Riekert can handle the ball, Knob can when necessary, and that with the front line that they have gives them, I think, as good a shot as anybody in the East in AA.
The Golden Knights have the district title in their hip pocket. Now they go for the state championship. They start their quest tonight right here at Millersville. Tonight's game from Millersville, sponsored in part by the Frosty Freeze Drive-In, soft ice cream and sandwiches, a great place to meet and eat at 480 West Market Street in Hello. Back here at Millersville, the Middleburg Middies versus the Eastern Golden Knights. And let's throw it down to the floor for the introduction of the starting lineups.
First, starting lineup for the Middleburg Middies, who will be designated as the away team. At center, at 6'2", is senior number 23, John Jones. At guard, at 5'11", junior number 33, Tim Lewis. At forward, at 6'1", senior number 35, Keith Goodling. At guard, at 6 feet, senior number 41, Bill Jerk. At forward, at 6'1", sophomore number 45, Dwayne Smith. Head coach of the Middies, Mr. Ralph Donner. Introducing the starting lineup for the Eastern York Golden Knights, designated as the home team. At guard, freshman at 5'10", number 22, Paul Abel. At guard, junior at 5'11", number 40, John Knob. At forward, junior at 6'1", number 42, Ryan Smith. At forward, senior at 6'3", number 44, Kurt Riegard. At center, senior at 6'7", number 52, Jonathan Ross.
The Golden Knights fans have made their way across the river to Millersville to follow the Golden Knights as they go for the state crown. Well, you can't see him. He's hidden behind the ball, but Bill Hayes, one of our officials tonight, Craig, in an interesting situation.
Each official, Jim Donald from District 4, Bill Hayes from District 3. Interesting situation. You're going to probably see two different kinds of refereeing styles, even though the rules are the same throughout the state. Be interesting. Let's stay on top of that as the game progresses.
John Jones gets the tap. The middies control. Tim Lewis out top. The man we talked about in the pregame, averages 19 a game. Bill Shirk, now he finds Lewis on the wing. This is Keith Goodling, number 35. We'll try and run the alley-oop back door, and we get an illegal screen called on number 23, John Jones. Paul Abel controls out front. Riekert loses it out of bounds, and the middies will take over. Just about to say the same starting five for the Golden Knights that we've seen all year. Abel and Riekert, Knob, Smith, and Robb.
Eastern matching up man-to-man, pass screen away by the middies. Last time down, they ran a series of passing to the wing and the handoff and cut through.
Lewis found Dwayne Smith inside, but he couldn't get the shot to go down, and Robb comes away with the Eastern rebound.
Middleburg opening in a 2-3 zone, hoping to contend with that height.
Smith left alone along the baseline, and he's got the first bucket of the night.
I couldn't believe how far their back line came out, Kevin. Opened that up totally.
Smith and Robb put the block on Goodling. Knob comes down the left side. He finds Riekert along the baseline. Now it's inside to Robb for an easy two.
Size definitely having a factor early here for Eastern versus the middies.
Lewis pushes it up. It's Goodling. Robb with another block inside. Smith gets a hand on it. It's out of bounds, and Eastern will take over.
Middleburg, coached by Ralph Varner, finished in 3rd place in District 4, and so they are the team that had to travel down here to Millersville in District 3 for this game, and I would expect them to be a little shaky early, Kevin. New surroundings. Remember, this is the gym that Eastern pounded Anvil Cleona in the semifinals.
Knob finds Ryan Smith along the baseline, and he gets another bucket.
If they don't score this time and give up another bucket, Coach Varner's going to have to get a timeout.
Lewis to Dwayne Smith, and he hits the first one of the night for the middies. 6-2, Eastern on top early. Riekert right inside to Robb. Off his leg as Lewis got a piece of it, and it goes back over to Middleburg.
Well, Tim Lewis proved that he could play the good defense, too. The way that many people have been playing Robb, drop down on him and get help. Play behind him and get help from a wingman or a point guard.
Goodling for two, and he's got it.
Goodling averaging 13 points a game. He's a 6'1 senior. Try to get you familiar with these players as the first quarter progresses.
Abel for three. Off the front of the rim, can't get it to go down, and Dwayne Smith comes away with the midi rebound. Lewis goes long. Good pass back inside. Robb's going to pick up a foul as he catches a piece of John Jones.
Eastern was really out of position for rebounding when Abel took that shot. He's got to have court awareness of where everyone is, and Ryan Smith and Robb were on the strong side when he took that shot, and then Robb, trying to get back from his high post on offense, back on defense, commits the foul.
Jones hits the first. Good credit to Bill Shirk on that fast break for the good catch and save, getting it back to John Jones. Jones ties it up at 6.
We might mention in the first game here tonight at Millersville, Columbia lost a heartbreaker at the buzzer, 51-48.
Knob with a good bounce pass inside. Smith misses once, gets his own rebound, and puts it back in.
And they lost that game to Wilson, so that was a shocker for Wilson to travel here to District 3 and beat Columbia.
Donnie Knobb's going to pick up his first foul as he grabs a hold of Lewis in the backcourt.
Mark Eckert feels that this is actually a plus for Eastern to get right back into playoff action. Take a look at the foul here on Donnie Knob on the reach. Last year they had to sit out a week because they weren't involved in the playoff situation and had to wait around for that. And to play Saturday night and come right back tonight, he feels will be a plus for his team.
Lewis for three, partially blocked by Smith. Robb away to Don Knob, has Abel on the wing, dumps it back instead to Ryan Smith. He's not going to get it as Robb tripped him up and Smith couldn't maintain his balance, and he's called for the walk.
That's 3 turnovers by the Golden Knights. Knob had the right idea there. He just got the ball to Ryan Smith at a little bit of awkward position, and it was indeed a walk.
8-6, the Golden Knights on top.
It's always harder to hit the trailer because you don't have a sense of his speed and where he's at on the floor.
Robb comes away with the miss. Gets it away to Kirk Riekert. Challenges the middies, drives inside, layup won't go. Robb's tip won't go, and here comes Middleburg the other way. Lewis on the run to Goodling, back over to Dwayne Smith, and he's got it.
What was almost a turnover turned out, instead of being a -2, a +2 for Middleburg.
Tied again at 8. Riekert inside to Robb along the baseline. His turnaround is good.
It seems as though the ball can go inside at will tonight, Kevin.
The middies turn it over. Abel comes up with the loose ball, has a trailer behind him, but he goes all the way to the hoop, and he's got it.
Now that was a nice steal, but I thought what was even more impressive is for Abel on the dribble to beat the defense down the court.
Yeah, I thought he was going to dish it off, but he just blew right by the defender. 12-8, Eastern goes on top by 4. The middies spread the floor. Lewis gives it up to John Jones. Spread the floor, Craig. It looks like he's trying to slow down the pace a little bit. Jones inside, blocked by Robb. Shirk comes away with the loose ball. Knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. Good look at John Robb.
He's made a statement early inside, but I think that Middleburg is hanging very tough in his first quarter, down just 4.
Dwayne Smith along the left baseline, and he hits another one. 2-point Golden Knight lead as Riekert launches a three-pointer. Won't go down. Smith with the offensive rebound, powers it back up. Gets another one. Shot's not going to count as he's fouled on the floor by John Jones.
Now you tell me, how did he get back up there a second time? Because I thought he had actually lost his balance back underneath the board, and boom, just like that, he was back in the offensive rebounding action. Ryan Smith doing what he does best.
You know, we talk about Kassan Jenkins and how quick he is off his feet. You got to put Ryan Smith right in that category.
You really do.
Knob gets his man up in the air and then ducks under and hits the shot.
Think about that. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch all next year.
Back door to Lewis, gets by Robb, charges into Riekert, and he's going to be called for the foul. Tonight's first quarter of action, sponsored in part by the Wrightsville Community Organization. Support Eastern sports. Sports builds character. The Wrightsville Community Organization. 14-10, the Golden Knights with 2.5 left in the first period. Knob tries to get it into Smith, and it's too long. Eastern turnover, Lewis pushes it up. Good pass by Shirk, blocked by Robb. Goes out of bounds, and Eastern will take over.
That was impressive. That is very difficult to do without getting a foul called against you. Obviously, the height advantage helps, but it's still a tough play, dropping back like that.
Riekert finds Smith in the middle, throws one up, and he's got it.
Ryan Smith leads the Golden Knights with 8 of their 16 points in this first quarter.
Shirk goes baseline, and he's tripped up by Paul Abel.
Now, Abel that time made a fundamental mistake. He's got to play defense with his feet. He has proven throughout the season and on a couple breakaways tonight, he's quick enough to do that. He's just got to adjust those feet to the baseline perpendicular and cut off the driver and take the charge.
Keith Goodling lobs it into Tim Lewis. Now it's back to Goodling in three-point land.
Eastern content to sit in that 2-3 zone now and test out the outside shooting.
Smith goes for the steal, leaves Goodling open. Too long. Reeker collects the rebound, turns heads up court, got a fast break. Penetrates to the middle, loses the ball, and Lewis coming the other way. 2-on-1, Shirk. Good steal by Abel! Abel pushes it up. Reeker down to Smith along the baseline. Another bucket for Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith gets 2 in the book to give him double figures, but Paul Abel gets 2 in Coach Eckert's heart. That steal looked like they pulled out a $50 bill in Times Square and didn't pay attention. Excellent steal by Abel.
18-10, Eastern's biggest lead of the night. Lewis from three-point land can't get it. Rebound followed up by Dwayne Smith. Under a minute to play in the first period, 18-12. Reeker back inside to Smith, can't get it. Rob's tip, no good. Smith tip, no good. Another offensive rebound, no good. Rob again, yes!
Volleyball.
Lewis penetrates, reverses himself, can't get it to go down. Rob finally collects it. Knob to Abel with 30 seconds to play in the first period.
Eastern is getting off to perhaps their best start in many, many big games in 1988.
And the way they play in the second half, this one might not be close.
Middleburg looks a little tired to me. Shirk looks tired. Smith looks tired. Smith is a sophomore. Physically, he doesn't match up with any of these Eastern players.
Smith, too easy inside.
You might as well just keep pounding it inside because there's no way Middleburg is going to be able to stop the size of Eastern.
Lewis gets a three-pointer away, he can't get it. The Eastern fans come to their feet in approval. A 10-point Golden Knight lead at the end of the first period. Tonight's second quarter action sponsored in part by Allied Hydraulic Service Pump and Motor Repair, located at 101 North Broad Street in Hellam.
Stats in the first quarter, Kevin. Eastern out-rebounded Middleburg 15-7. Shot 61% from the floor, just like that. 11 of 18. Middleburg 5 of 15 for 33%. So clearly Eastern dominated the first quarter.
12-point Eastern lead. Smith goes for the steal. The pass just went over his outstretched hand.
Now Middleburg's pushed their offense out a little bit.
Rob with another block, and he's called for the foul.
Now, I thought Rob, in a game like this, he doesn't have to swat through. All he has to do is get that hand up on the jump. As soon as he swats through, now he blocked a shot like this earlier and started a fast break. But right here, you can get, see right there, when you come down through, you make that contact on the arm. That's an automatic call. Good call by the official.
That's going to be the second on John Robb.
Jim Warfield Realty Center, real estate sales and appraisals, multiple listing service. Jim Warfield Realtor at RD 24 Hellam. Phone 252-3693. Jim Warfield Realty Center.
John Robb's going to have to take a seat with those two fouls. As number 54, Bob Christ, will check in for him.
That's interesting. Instead of going with another guard like Reisinger.
Donnie Knob gets into the middle and hits one. Goodling stops on the wing. John Jones loses it in the middle. Here comes Knob the other way. Bounce pass inside behind Smith. Chris stays after it. Pump fakes up in the air. Can't get it. Gets his own rebound. Again off the glass, too short. They fight inside, and Bob Christ is going to be called for the foul.
That's okay. If you're a coach, Donnie Knob played it smart. He made the steal, held up because it was a 1-on-2 break. Tried to get it to Ryan Smith. Not a great pass. And then what you're going to see is an excellent effort on the offensive boards by Bob Christ. So the 6-foot junior Chris gets his first personal foul after just checking into the ball game. And he combined, you know, this could be an excellent opportunity for him to get some experience. He'll be back next year along with Ryan Smith.
The Golden Knights are over the bonus, or over the limit, I should say, puts Middleburg in the bonus. Jones hits the first. and the second. 26-16, Eastern on top. Abel to Smith in the middle. This one rolls out. Tim Lewis collects the rebound and comes up court for the Middies. Has it stripped from behind by Knob. Bounce pass across to Smith, back to Knob, off the glass for two.
Beautiful. They didn't connect the last time down the floor, but boy, they were right on the money that time, executing the 2-on-1 break, just as you would in a drill session at practice.
Shirk. Now it's Jones down on the left wing. Finds Lewis at the foul line, spins away from Knob, can't get it off the glass. Jones inside, blocked, but he's going to get the foul called on Bob Chris.
Tonight's action also being brought to you in part by Myers & List Sales and Service, your Chrysler Plymouth dealer in Wrightsville. Myers & List is located at 850 Hellam Street in Wrightsville. Phone 252-1596. There it is, a thing of beauty. Give it up, get it back, put two in a book.
And the man that got that last bucket, Donnie Knob, is going to sit down as Eddie Reisinger replaces him.
Ryan Smith has 14 points in this first half, and he's having a whale of a ball game, and there's also other guys contributing. Rob has 6, Knob has 6, Abel 2. Riekert hasn't yet to score, so we haven't even felt his impact yet.
Jones gets another 2 points from the foul line, 28-18. Riekert in trouble in the backcourt. Finds Chris, goes right to the bucket, blocked, and then he loses it out of bounds.
Good call. Christ was aggressive in going to the basket, but that was an excellent block.
Goodling down along the baseline to Dwayne Smith. Ryan Smith gets the rebound, and coming over the top is Tim Lewis. No, it's going to be John.
Just 3 personals on John Jones. Now, watch Ryan Smith. He backs off here and just keeps his arms straight up to affect the shot, and then he's right back up after the defensive boards. No doubt about that call.
The Knights still with a 10-point lead, 28-18. Smith goes baseline, cuts back to the middle off the glass for 2. They think about 3, then they push it into Dwayne Smith, and he's going to go to the foul line as Kirk Riekert bumped him from behind.
That was a little bit of a physical mismatch, and just some bumping on a young sophomore like that. It looks as though there's more contact. An okay call by the official. Tonight's action also being brought to you in part by Alvin E. Fouth Insurance Agency Incorporated, State Farm insurance dealers in York. They're located at 815 Edgewood Road. They have auto, life, home, and business insurance. Why not call Alvin E. Fouth at 757-3568.
Smith can't hit from the foul line. Riekert gets the long rebound. Right through the hands of Riekert and out of bounds.
Riekert's not off to a great start in this ball game. I think he's not really touching the ball enough in the offense and needs to create something on defense.
We had a couple of nice passes early, though, inside to Rob and Ryan Smith. Dwayne Smith around the circle. Left-handed shot, rims out. Christ gets the rebound.
This is valuable playing time for Christ because we haven't seen him much in the district playoffs.
Gets the pass from Abel off the glass for 2. Christ out on Goodling. Now it goes inside to Smith over Riekert. This one rattles around and goes home. Eastern and Mark Eckert take a timeout. They're on top, 32-20. You look at the Middleburg huddle. I was just thinking, Craig, the Middies haven't substituted yet. They've gone with an Ironman 5.
They have, and I think I mentioned there towards the end of the first quarter, it looked to me like they were physically a little tired, if it was the trip or just a combination of school today plus the trip.
Well, Paul's pointing out that one came in, and John Jones with 3 fouls had to sit down. But still, like you said, Craig, when you got to travel, probably traveled all afternoon, possibly to get here, that takes its toll. And when you have to sit around and watch the first game, it's even worse.
And we didn't get started till a little bit after 8 o'clock tonight, so it makes for a long day for school plus a game. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're in the East Prospect area and you want pizza, there's only one place to go, Emilio's Pizza and Sub Shop at 50 West Maple Street in East Prospect, where they have homemade rolls and you can dine in or carry out. So why not call Emilio's Pizza at 252-4596.
32-20. The Golden Knights on top with 4:42 to play in this first half.
Good timeout, interesting timeout call, but I think a good one by Mark Eckert. Just say, look, what do we want to do during this last 4 minutes and 30 seconds of the second quarter? What's our strategy with Rob on the bench?
What they want to do is let Kirk Rieker drive down the middle wide open.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of his strategy, to get Riekert in the scorebook and get him more involved in the offense with Rob on the bench.
Ryan Smith sends one right back at Lewis. Now it's Abel on the other end. He penetrates and gets an easy bucket.
I'll tell you what, Bill Rule is going to run out of lead pretty soon on points in the paint and layups, because Eastern can almost score at will inside.
And now the Middies want to take a timeout and say, hey, too easy inside. And it's been all Eastern, 36-20 with 4 minutes to play in the first half. Order of action sponsored in part by Zakey's, located at 25 West Market Street, New York. Remember Zakey's under 21 night on Sunday evenings. They run the back door for number 41, Bill Shirk, and he gets a bucket.
Nice set out of bounds play off the timeout by Middleburg.
Reisinger left alone, passes it up to Riekert. Now he pushes it into Ryan Smith, and everything's going down for Smith tonight.
That was a great pass by Riekert, just a touch pass without looking to the inside.
Well, that's what I was saying, Craig. He wasn't scoring earlier, but he had about 3 or 4 of those.
Now that play was just simply inexperience on Chris' part. He actually lost track of his man, and because of that inexperience, Chris has now garnered his 3rd personal foul. You need to play off your man, be aware of him and the ball. And that time he just lost track of his man and had to play catch up. And when you play catch up on defense, it usually means a foul. See, he gets rubbed off on a screen there, but he really shouldn't have been that tight away from the basket and that close to the ball.
Goodling gets 1 of 2. And that's going to send into the game for 32, Mike Mabel. Who replaces Bob Christ. "15-point Eastern lead. Riekert left alone in the middle. Abel gets it to him. It rims out. There's your man, Craig, Ryan Smith.
Man, if he has a field day in the York County League, he's having a banner day tonight.
Well, Mark Eckert's not going to like that, as Keith Goodling was left all alone on the wing, then went uncontested to the basket.
Let me tell you what you want to do in a game like this. A coach doesn't mind how many points you score, but in a game like this, you better dominate it defensively. So at the huddle, you should be telling your kids, I don't care what you put on the board, but you better be holding them down to where your defensive average is. You don't let a team like this score on you at will.
Smith is going to take a trip to the foul line as he gets fouled on what else? An offensive rebound. Can't get it as it hits the front of the rim. Goodling comes away with the rebound, ahead to Tim Lewis. Penetrates and tripped up by Reisinger, and the Golden Knights senior is going to draw the foul.
Thinking about painting your home, either the interior or the exterior? Charles M. Swartz, interior and exterior painting and wallpapering at 442 Walnut Street in Wrightsville, can do the job. For free estimates, call 252-2495. Charles M. Swartz, interior, exterior painting and wallpapering.
Lewis hits the first. And really, Craig, the only thing that's keeping Middleburg semi-close is the foul shots.
Yes.
2 of 2 from the line for Tim Lewis, 40-27. The Golden Knights, 2.5 to play in the first half.
We talked about Whistler the other night. He had 23 at the half. Ryan Smith now has 20.
Abel loses it. Good effort by Goodling to get it ahead to Shirk. Bounce pass across to Lewis. Blocked from behind by Mabel. Reisinger lobs it down to Abel, and he can't come up with it.
Tried to do something with it before he caught it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What's the first thing you learn? Catch it before you do something with it. Look it right into your hands. Tonight's second quarter of action, sponsored in part by R&G Seafood, located at 329 South Sherman Street in New York. Shirk for 3, too short. Riekert gets the rebound, gives it away to Donnie Knob, who's back in the Eastern lineup. Knob down on the baseline to Smith, cut off. Back to Knob in the middle to Mabel, turnaround, too long. Riekert has his hands on it, then loses it to Shirk. Shirk gets to the top of the key, then turns it over to Reisinger.
Getting just a little bit sloppy now.
1.5 to play. 40-27 as Ryan Smith goes baseline, and he's going to be called for the charge as he ran right over number 31, Chris Anderson, who has checked into the midi lineup.
You know, you got to remember now, too, the big plus here is John Robb sitting out the balance of this first half with 2 personal fouls. He's going to be well rested for the third quarter, and also probably chomping at the bit to get back in there. He's got 6 in the book going into halftime.
Well, the middies could get it to within 10 with a 3-pointer. Lewis spins into the middle, goes to his knees, gets the pass away to Shirk. He penetrates, and he's got it.
Now, this will be a moral victory for Middleburg if they can get it under 10 by the half. There's 1:03 to go. They're down 11.
Riekert. Mabel into Smith. This one won't go down, gets his own rebound. It comes away to Knob, has it stripped out of his hands and out of bounds. Bill Rule slashes off another 5. 10 rebounds for Ryan Smith in the first half. Knob in the middle, too long. Lewis gets the rebound, heads out of there, and he's cut off by Mike Mabel and fouled.
You know, that was a very awkward foul call, but it almost had to be made because it really, you know, it was almost it had to be a walk or a foul, and he called a foul.
Well, he's trying to get it down to the floor, and Mabel just gets caught in the air and gets a piece of him.
That was a real tough call for the official because it was a very awkward play.
Well, Lewis now will have a chance to get it under 10.
Melcor Tool and Machine Company, precision lathe, mill, and grinding at 1355 Memory Lane in York. Phone 757-6651. Melcor Tool and Machine Company.
40-31 Eastern. 45 seconds to play in the first half. Knob to Riekert for 3. Too short. Mabel comes over the back of Goodling, and he's called for the foul.
So you're exactly right, Kevin. You alluded to the foul shooting earlier, and that definitely is making a difference in this ball game. Middleburg, to this point, has taken 15 foul shots. They've missed just 2. Eastern has taken 1 foul shot, the front end of a 1-on-1, and missed it.
Goodling hits the first.
So it's a +12 for Middleburg. Check that, a +13 for Middleburg at the foul line.
Make it a +14 as Goodling hits the second. Golden Knights look to play for the last shot. 30 seconds to play in the first half.
I think what Mark Eckert's thinking is, hey, I'm resting my big player. We're a second half team, and we still have a 7-point lead with a chance to go in up 9.
Riekert splits the double team, tries to dish it off to Mabel. Stolen. Here comes Lewis the other way. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Down to Goodling. Off the glass, and it's a 5-point Eastern lead.
Well, it was a 15-point lead. It's down to 5.
It was all the Golden Knights for about 14 minutes of this first half, but the last 2 minutes have seen the Middleburg Middies cut the 15-point lead to 5, 40-35 as they go to the locker room. With Eastern leading Middleburg 40-35, our halftime report tonight sponsored by K&K Dodge, 950 Hellam Street in Wrightsville. And Craig, I think as we start to look at the stats, the story is Middleburg has gotten back into it from the foul line.
Clearly, you have to look at those numbers. If you look at field goals, it looks like Eastern is dominating this game, and they did. 19 of their 20 field goals came from very high percentage range. Bill Rule has them for 8 layups, and he has them for 11 shots that were in very high percentage range around the basket. But then when you look at Paul's numbers, the foul shooting tells the story. Middleburg hit 15 of 17 foul shots in the first half. Eastern 0 of 1. So 88% free throw shooting by the Middies have clearly kept them in this ball game. Gave them a plus 15. Otherwise, they would have been down by the nature of 20 points in this ball game. Eastern out rebounding them 23-15. They've scored off a lot of their offensive rebounds. At least 8 points coming off of the offensive rebounds. Turnovers, Eastern 10. Most of those coming in the latter stages of that second quarter with some 6th, 7th, and 8th players in the ball game. The Middies have turned the ball over 7 times, Kevin.
Individually, as we start to take a look at the leading scorers for the visiting Middleburg team, Smith leads the way with 11, Goodling with 8, and then 2 players with 6, Jones and Lewis. So they've held Lewis under his average as he came in averaging 19. Over on the Eastern side, Ryan Smith with a phenomenal first half, 20 points, a lot of those coming off of offensive rebounds. But then it really drops off, Craig. Rob with 6 and Knob with 6.
Well, I think the plus there is, though, that Rob sat down a lot of that first half. He should be well rested. And just observing him walking to the locker room, I don't think he was real happy about sitting down for the length of period of time. And I look for him to perhaps come out with that fire in his eyes that we alluded to in the Anvil-Cleona game.
Well, Craig, you say that your equation for Eastern success is when Rob gets mad, Eastern 5 at the half, 40-35. Middleburg to get the ball to start the second half. They trail by 5. Starting 5 back in for both sides. Lewis in the middle. Riekert had his back turned and couldn't help out. And it's a 3-point Eastern lead.
Good screen away from the ball that time and an excellent cut to the basket. And Eastern struggled a little bit on defense with that particular play.
Smith along the baseline, back out top to Abel.
Box and 1, Kevin, on Rob. Box and 1.
And it's Lewis all over him. Abel's shot was short. Shirk off to the left side. Goodling. They're going to call the charge.
I'll tell you what, I thought that was a block.
Yeah, I think the Golden Knights got a break.
I think they did too. And turnabout is fair play here, Kevin, because I think if they do the same thing that they did last time down, Lewis is in a box and 1 on Rob. That was a bang-bang call, and it went in favor of the Eastern Golden Knights.
Smith back down to Riekert along the baseline. He got one for 2 points.
Riekert's going to be open because they're making a Rob sandwich down low.
Now the Middies pull it out, reset the offense. Goodling to Dwayne Smith. Riekert steps in the passing lane, comes away with it. On the run, tries to go to the middle, and he's going to be called for the carry as he got the ball hung up on his chest.
Young Dwayne Smith, number 45, the 6'1 sophomore, averaging 12 a game for the Middies, is really mismatched physically in this ball game. Eastern's actually letting Middleburg in this ball game. Rob's almost playing a one-man zone at this point. Look at him down in the paint.
And Rob had a chance for the interception after it went through Shirk's hands, but he couldn't hold on. Goodling to inbounds. Lobs it into Bill Shirk. Penetrates. Lewis gets to the foul line. Dishes it off to Goodling from the right wing. Too short. Robb controls. Knob to Robb at the foul line. Fakes a pass. Goes into the middle, and he got one.
I still like John Robb better when he's facing the basket. Varner, the coach of Middleburg, said he was impressed by Robb with his back to the basket, but I prefer him facing it.
Lewis with the entry pass had it tipped away and out of bounds. So Middleburg trailing by 7, gets the ball. Lewis was wide open. They couldn't get it to him. Knob hustles on defense, knocks it out of bounds.
Can you feel that defensive tempo coming up just a little bit by Eastern?
Goodling dumps it back outside.
You can't let a team like this in a game and keep it close. You got to bury them early.
Well, it's almost like the first game. Goodling for 2. Columbia in the first game just let Wilson hang in there and hang in there and hang in there. And then they beat him at the end. Smith penetrates, gets another one. 22 points on the night for Ryan Smith. Lewis penetrates, tries to scoop one off the glass, can't get it to go.
Lewis missed that shot, but the defense was really poor by Eastern in allowing that penetration. They're very lackadaisical on the back line, I feel, in this third quarter.
Riekert's wide open, cross court. Try and get it to him. It's too high. Abel tracks it down, knocked away from behind. Riekert from in the paint, can't get it. Robb, too strong inside. Shirk turns to the baseline. Now it's back to Goodling.
I thought Shirk passed up a good shot there. He didn't realize the defense blew by him.
Now he puts one and banks it hard off the glass for 2.
Tonight's game sponsored in part by K&K Dodge, 950 Helm Street in Wrightsville. Phone 252-2412, K&K Dodge.
Smith goes baseline, dishes it off to Riekert, and give credit to Kirk Riekert for a great catch, and then slides along the baseline and puts it in. Jones cut off, gets it back to Lewis, penetrates on Robb and goes right between Robb and Smith and lays it off the glass.
Something missing, and I thought the defense was picking up the tempo on the wings. I think the problem is in the back line right now. Too much penetration and not a good communication and picking that driver up.
Knob gets to the baseline, forces one up. Ryan Smith right there, off the glass for 2.
Now we're right back where we started the ball game. Eastern dominating on the inside on the offensive boards. Eastern's up to 27 rebounds on the game, and they have 10 points on scores off offensive rebounds.
And you just don't coach that, Craig. That is just a feel for getting to the open spot.
And a desire to get there. I see guys that are off again, on again as offensive rebounders, but Ryan Smith is very consistent.
Jones with a good catch. Then he can't get the layup to go down, and Riekert comes away with the rebound. Riekert left alone for 3. Too short. There's Smith off the glass again.
2 things. He took the defensive rebound away from a player and then powered through the hands of another to score.
Shirk with the long entry pass to Jones. Now he goes with the skip pass for Goodling into Shirk, and he's cut off by his own teammate, and he's called for the walk.
Since the Eastern starters have come back in here in the second half, they built their lead by 7 points. They're now up 12, 55-43.
Abel reverses it back over to Knob. Smith give and go to Robb, off the glass for 2.
Nice triangle passing scheme there. The defense really lost track of John Robb coming down from the high post.
Tim Lewis turns to Bill Hayes and says, give us a timeout.
Watch this. Pass to the corner. Defense turns and looks at the ball. 3 men come over and the dish off to Robb for 2.
Yeah, I said give and go, but it was just a great cut by John Robb and a good pass by Ryan Smith. Tonight's second half of action, sponsored in part by Jim Warfield Realty Center, real estate sales and appraisals and multiple listing service. Jim Warfield Realtor, located at RD 24 in Hellam. 57-43, Eastern on top, 2:39 to play in the third period. I'd also like to say that we will be making the trip tomorrow night to Pottsville to catch York Catholic in their second round game of the state tournament as they take on Milton.
The more Eastern and York Catholic keep winning,
the more we travel.
The more we travel. So York Catholic got the break in the first round playing in the Harrisburg Farm Show, and of course by this second round they're going to be moving up to Pottsville, so should be a good one up there. I'm going to have to take a rain check or a snow check depending on the weather.
Oh, don't even say that. Yeah, but I got a Subaru, right? And they say they can get through anything.
They say that unless you pass the Swiss women's ski team, Kevin. or the York Catholic manager stranded by the side of the road. I don't know.
Paul will be telling me to pull over, pull over.
Let's get back to action here before we get in too deep and can't get out.
I don't think we can dig ourselves out of that one. The Golden Knights up by 14. They're going to spread the floor. Abel fouled as Bill Shirk got a piece of his arm from behind.
Tonight's action also being brought to you in part by R&G Seafood, 329 South Sherman Street in York. For steamed crabs and excellent choices of all other seafood, stop by or call 846-1270. See owner Gerald Flaherty at R&G Seafood.
Inside, Smith with the tip.
No substitute for an inside game. And with that, too, it's Ryan Smith's career high, 29 points.
Well, this is going to really sound stupid now that he's just passed his career high. We've seen Ryan Smith have some great games, but never like this.
He's really dominated this game, both on the offensive boards and with his scoring on the inside. I really believe he is just coming of age. And late in the junior year, that's where you look for that to happen, for a good lead into a senior year.
Foul called on Donnie Knobb. And now as it inbounds, Robb comes away with the steal. Bad outlet pass to Shirk. Look at Robb! Oh my God! They're up above the rim. I think they're going to get Smith for the foul. If you had a chance to watch John Robb, he threw the bad outlet pass, knew it was bad, just stood there and waited. He wanted that block on the other end of the floor.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not good basketball because it was a bad outlet pass. And then instead of playing good defense and trying to take the charge and alter the shot, he went for the frustration block. So your point's well taken, Kevin, but fundamentally it's not where you want to play. John Robb, let's be fairly candid, is not having a great game tonight. He doesn't look like he's really into the game mentally.
That foul, though, called on Ryan Smith. 59-44. Minute and a half to play in the third quarter as Paul Abel loses it out of bounds. Here come the middies now. Tim Lewis controls out front. They look for the backdoor alley-oop. They can't get it. Lewis penetrates in the middle, spins out. Lewis, Craig, just isn't having the night that we expected.
No, he's really not. He's got 10 points on the night, so he is in doubles, but hasn't been dominant.
Reeker to Robb. He gets the bucket, and he's going to go to the line.
If you're under 21 and looking for something of great fun on Sunday nights to do, why not think about Zakey's at 25 West Market Street in York. Phone 846-5915. Under 21 night on Sundays at Zakey's.
And tonight's third quarter also sponsored in part by Myers & List Sales and Service, Chrysler Plymouth, located at 850 Hellam Street in Wrightsville.
Well, the Eastern starters starting to do what we would expect as they came back in the second half well rested and coming out of the locker room with the kind of attitude they've had in the last couple games.
Robb completes the three-point play. Eastern's biggest lead of the night at 18, 62-44.
So they've upped it by 13 since coming out of the locker room.
Knob gets a piece of the ball in the backcourt. Now it's Goodling, goes to the baseline, dishes it off. Number 31, Chris Anderson, just into the game, can't control it. The Golden Knights come up with the turnover. Riekert goes to the baseline and dumps it right off of Anderson, and it goes out of bounds. .44 seconds as Robb was hammered inside. Abel comes up with the loose ball to Smith. He's got the bucket, and he's going to go to the line.
Bodies everywhere.
Smith, 31 points on the night. 32.
And he's making it look relatively easy, too, while he's doing it. You know he's working hard on the offensive boards, but always seems to be around the ball and involved in the offense tonight.
John Jones along the baseline, and they're going to get robbed for the blocking foul.
Allied Hydraulic Service, pump and motor repair at 101 North Broad Street in Hellam is bringing you tonight's game. Allied Hydraulic Service in Hellam.
Inside to Jones, has it stripped. Goes right to Anderson. Robb blocks it from behind. Anderson comes away with it. Lewis spins into the middle, blocked. Anderson loses it, called for the travel. Bill Shirk is going to check back in. He replaces Tim Lewis. Five-second call as Paul Abel let the ball roll too far.
It's got to be touched within 5 seconds. It's that simple a rule. You can't let it roll up the floor because the clock is ticking and the referee's hand is moving and counting it off.
Pass goes out of bounds. 13 seconds to play. 65-44. Eastern on top. Riekert to Robb. Back to Riekert. Penetrates, gets inside the three-point line. Floats one up, and he's got it. That's how we're going to end the third period. 67-44. The Golden Knights on top.
Middleburg 44.
We get a look at the Eastern fans. They like what has happened through 3 periods. Their team on top, 67-44.
And 10 out of 12 Eastern shots in the third quarter were from very high percentage range. Eastern out-rebounded the Middies 9-2 in the third quarter. And through 3 quarters, Eastern has out-rebounded Middleburg 32-17. And when you double the rebounds, you almost always double the score.
Smith out in the wing. Knob has it poked away from behind and stolen. Shirk gets out in front of the break, loses the ball. Goes cross court to Lewis, works against Robb. Robb blocks it, but he's called for the foul underneath.
And that was a good call. What the fans saw was the block. What they didn't want to see was the body contact leading up to that. Clearly it's a foul.
And this is going to be number 4 on John Robb.
Now, right there's the foul.
Tonight's fourth quarter of action is sponsored in part by Emilio's Pizza and Sub Shop, located at 50 West Maple Street in East Prospect. Homemade rolls, dine in or carry out at Emilio's. Robb's going to take a seat as Bob Christ replaces him.
Well, they were up 5 at halftime. They're now up 22. With 7:38 to go in the fourth quarter.
Lewis connects on both ends of the two-shot foul. Abel trapped, gets around it. Somebody's got to be open. Knob fouled as Shirk hits him on the arm from behind.
We could be in for a foul shooting contest in this fourth quarter, which probably will even it up overall for the game. Tonight's action being brought to you in part by the Wrightsville Community Organization. Support Eastern sports programs through the Wrightsville Community Organization. Sports builds character, and if you believe that, why not call Rick Townsley at 755-1826 and become a part of the Wrightsville Community Organization.
Don Knob hits the first. Can't hit the second. Jones gets the rebound, gives it away to Lewis. Bounce pass on the wing to Goodling, off the glass, and it rolls home.
There's still little things about the Eastern defense that I wouldn't be satisfied over.
Riekert flashes to the middle. Now he's got a 4-on-1. Goes all the way to the hoop, and he's got it. Lewis the other way. Ryan Smith swats it right back at him. Another block!
Is there any doubt about who our MVP is in tonight's ball game? Excellent defensive effort by Ryan Smith.
Here comes Abel. Works out of the pressure, finds Smith on the wing, and he's going to be going to the foul line as Bill Shirk commits the foul. One block. Okay, bring it in here. 2 blocks.
Go to the foul line at the other end. He's had a great game. That's an understatement. It's a blatantly obvious statement. If you're watching the ball game, I don't need to tell you that.
Two more for Ryan Smith.
34 points for Ryan Smith. And
Riekert with the steal, fouled by Tim Lewis. And a technical on Tim Lewis. Well, it's almost a matter of time in coming. As you can see, the Middleburg players getting more and more frustrated.
might have had part ball, but I think with body on the shoulder. From a kid's perspective, it probably wasn't a foul. From reality, it was.
Middleburg wants a timeout. They're trailing 72-48 to the Eastern Golden Knights. Tonight's fourth quarter, sponsored in part by Alvin E. Fowle Insurance Agency, State Farm Insurance, Auto Life, Home and Business at 815 Edgewood Road in New York. Riekert, I believe this is the two-shot foul.
Correct. And then you'll shoot the technical and take the ball out on the side. Kevin, I might not end up being too far off. If Eastern puts on one of their fourth quarter surges, I said you can possibly double the score in a game in which you've dominated the board so well. Eastern has had 17 offensive rebounds, resulting in 19 points tonight, and that is dominance on the offensive boards.
3 in a row for Riekert.
What did we have, a bench technical? I thought we had a technical on the player.
4 in a row for Riekert from the foul line.
4 in a row plus the ball. Tonight's action also being brought to you by the Frosty Freeze Drive-In. Soft ice cream and sandwiches, a great place to meet and eat at 480 West Market Street in Hillam. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday 1 to 10. Phone 755-5894. Frosty Freeze Drive-In for soft ice cream and sandwiches.
Abel for 3, way short. Jones gets the rebound and he's fouled by Kirk Riekert. Reisinger set to check into the game for Paul Abel.
Well, the numbers for Eastern tonight: Abel has 4, Smith 34, Riekert 14. He's come alive in the second half, having 12 of his 14 points. Robb has 15 and Knob has 7. So even beyond Smith's tremendous game, there's nice balance in that scoring.
Jones gets 2 from the foul line. Riekert gets between the pressure. Now he gets it across the timeline. Good dish off to Smith.
Beautiful pass. A chippy for Ryan Smith off that assist.
Goodling can't hit from the wing. Riekert takes it away from Dwayne Smith. Riekert steps inside the line, puts one up from the top of the key, can't get it. Tracks down the loose ball, goes to the baseline, and he's going to get a trip to the foul line as Keith Goodling is whistled for the foul.
Number 35, Goodling is third.
Court awareness from Riekert. 2 points for Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith checks out of the ball game. 36 points on the night. And Bill Rule says 15 rebounds.
That'll tire you out. You'll sleep well tonight. That's definitely a hard night of work when you go to the boards that often and come away with that many rebounds.
Riekert gets 2 from the foul line, 80-50. The Golden Knights on top, still 5:48 to play. Well, they say in the truck we haven't seen a 100-point game this year. They're ready for one. Robb gets the block, gets the outlet pass to Riekert. He's fouled.
I'd rather see an 85-point game and have it be over with, because this thing's basically history. Because the Middleburg kids now are just, I mean, they're out of the ball game, down 30. And they're hanging their heads. The question remains now, I said this at the top of the show, Kevin, I think that one of the keys for Eastern is going to be to remain healthy. And so you don't want to get anybody hurt.
Well, there's a little one that wishes it was over too. Riekert, 2 more.
Dreams of perhaps future basketball dancing in his or her head.
Tim Lewis has checked back into the Middleburg lineup. Jones works against Robb, blocked.
John Jones had about every playground move in the book there except the shot.
They get it in. Reisinger tips it away. Lewis comes up with it, hounded in the backcourt. Bounce pass down on the baseline to Dwayne Smith, and he's fouled from behind by Bob Christ. Tonight's 4th quarter of action, sponsored in part by Charles M. Sports, interior and exterior painting and wallpapering at 442 Walnut Street in Wrightsville.
You know, one of the reasons we can bring you all this outstanding sports action here on Cable 4 York is because of all our fine sponsors. So we really hope that when you stop by to see them and patronize their businesses, you say thank you for being a part of Cable 4 Sports and being a part of the community.
Well, it's been a good season. And it could get even better as we advance further on into the state playoffs.
Much, much more to go, I feel.
Mike Kesey and his York Catholic Irish, we go to see them tomorrow night. It's just icing on the cake for them right now.
I was going to say, they just keep defying the odds. My expectations would have been greater for this Eastern team this year in districts and states than it would have been for York Catholic, especially after the injury to Nouse.
Donnie Knob has it stolen from behind. Now he tries for the re-steal. Lewis tips it over. They fight for it, and Keith Goodling called for the foul. Yeah, Craig, we talk about York Catholic, and way back when Dallastown beat them, I said you can blow your own horn. You have to eat some crow now, because late in the season you said don't expect much from the Fighting Irish.
You're right. You're right. And I also lost a small side wager to Paul on Dallastown because I really thought they would win in the first round. They were defeated by obviously a very good Chambersburg team that made it all the way to the Quad A finals before they beat lost to what may be the eventual state champion for the 4th year in a row, Carlisle.
Kirk Reeker checks out of the ball game as Matt Harrison checks in. Rob to the line. Hits the first and the second. .34-point lead as we approach the 4-minute mark of the final period. Dwayne Smith turns to his left, can't get it. John Jones fights for it, knocks Reisinger to the ground, comes away. Lewis can't hold on. Reisinger gets it, Lewis steps in front and steps right out of bounds. Ed Reisinger needs some football pads out there. He's hitting the floor every couple seconds.
We're in for a long 4 minutes, Kevin.
Good pass from Harrison to Rob, and he lays it in.
19 points for John Robb on the night, so he's got a real shot at getting into the 20s to complement Ryan Smith's 36 points, a career high.
Foul called inside. Was it Knob or Reisinger? I believe it's going to be Ed Reisinger.
About 4 minutes ago, I said with that kind of dominance on rebounds that Eastern had, that they could come close to doubling the score when you dominate rebounding like that. And at this point, they're up by 36, 86-50.
Middleburg wants a timeout. We're going to take one as well. 3:51 to play in the ball game. Tim Lewis to the line. He hits the first. Lewis with
13.
13. You got to give hand signals up here. We're so far apart. Can't get the second. Foul on the rebound. I think it's going to be Christ. That might be all for him.
Kind of having deja vu here. I feel like I'm in the walkway up at York High during the York County foul shooting contest. That's what happens in these kind of games where, remember, this was a 5-point ball game at halftime. Eastern came back with their starters, and clearly, Kevin, they are a second-half team. They've done it again.
Well, I think you hit the nail right in the head. You said when Rob and the starters do get back in there, that they were going to regain control, and they've done so.
You know, I watched Scott Bradley's special recently last night, and The Tale of Two Cities, about York Catholic and Carlisle's program. And he asked Mike Kesey a question about what appears to be, to some people, criticism or negative comments by the York Catholic coaching staff about their team's play when they win. And even though this is a big, big win, I will say there were some flaws in Eastern's defensive performance tonight that you have to clean up before you play a better team than Middleburg.
And I think to round that out, Craig, is you see Mike Mabel get a rebound and then throw it out of bounds. Coach Kesey's answer to that question was, it's really not criticism, you just keep on striving for success.
And you strive for perfection. That's the object of the ball game. And I think the reason I'm saying that, Kevin, is if Eastern runs into some height again, they will not get away with some of the things that they tried to do defensively tonight, playing defense with their hands and not their feet.
Rob comes away with another rebound. Reisinger to the foul line. His shot is up and it rolls around, won't go in. They tip it around. Reisinger on the floor again. Oh, what a tough foul to get.
I'll tell you, Reisinger, I just love to see a kid go aggressively after the ball on the floor there. And I thought the contact was minimal on that.
Donnie Knob's going to sit down as Darren Henice checks into the ball game. Bill Shirk rolls the first one in. And he gets 2 from the line, 86-54, the Golden Knights. Henice gets it ahead to Rob. Rob for 3, too long. Lewis with the rebound. With the baseball pass to Shirk. Turnaround from the baseline, and he's got a one. Henice, long for Harrison and too long. Number 21, Brett Shamery checks into the ball game, replacing Bill Shirk for the Middies.
Kevin, I'll make this comment too. I'm surprised John Robb's still in this ball game. Up 30, less than 3 minutes to go.
Shamery tracks it down and throws it off his teammate, and that's going to be backcourt.
I think the positive thing coming out of this game, obviously, beyond the win for Eastern, Kevin, is how well this team played when Rob had just 8 first-half points, 19 overall. Sounds like I'm down on Rob tonight. I'm not. It's just that I think he's had a fairly uneven game.
Harrison can't get it. Rob's right there and puts it back home.
Okay, he said, take that, Craig Smith.
Jones loses it, and Middleburg is going to keep possession as it was knocked out of his hands. Yeah, I was watching Rob on this rebound, Craig. He's just waiting for it. Watch, right there, he spins away. Easy.
Time to sit him down. He's got 21 on the night. We're down to almost 2 minutes.
Reisinger called for the foul. Well, that's going to be 4 on Reisinger. Tim Lewis back to the foul line.
This is a tough week for both AA and AAA teams, Kevin. They have to win on 3 separate days this week to advance to next week's Eastern Finals.
Henice gives a good pass to Rob in the middle, and he collects 2 more. Lewis penetrates, can't get it off the glass. Mabel called for the travel as he couldn't collect the pass. But the only excitement left now is to see if Eastern can hit the century mark, 90-58. Ed Reisinger checks out. Rob also is going to check out. Mark Townsley into the game, along with, I believe, Matt Rudisil, number 14. I'm going to say that's Matt Rudisil. I'm sorry if it's not. We have him listed as number 41 on our sheet, but we don't have any other names, so that should be him.
Once again, Kevin, I'd like to thank our sponsors of tonight's game: Frosty Freeze Drive-In, the Wrightsville Community Organization, Allied Hydraulic Service, Zakey's, R&G Seafood, and K&K Dodge.
Also, Jim Warfield Realty, Myers Enlist Sales and Service, Alvin Fouth Insurance, Emilio's Pizza, Melcor Tool and Machine, and Charles M. Swartz, interior and exterior painting. Shamery hits 2 foul shots. Lewis comes away with the steal. Goes against Mabel, draws the foul. Well, if I can get Paul to dig up one of his notes, I know he has who the winner will take on. Obviously, it's going to be Eastern, who they're going to take on in the second round. As Lewis gets another one from the foul line.
Did you ever think where we'd be without Paul, Kevin? Out on a limb somewhere without the right numbers.
And nice to the hoop, can't get it. Harrison for the rebound, blocked, but he's going to go to the line. As the foul's called on, I was afraid this guy was going to get in the game. Todd Ziadaz, I believe. The winner of this game plays the winner of Archbishop Kennedy for Catasauqua. Now, Archbishop Kennedy finished first in District 1. Catasauqua finished second in District 11. So the competition is going to get tougher, as we said, Craig, down the road. Matt Harrison hits the first. (92-62), the Golden Knights, minute and a half to play. Shot won't go down. Harrison gets the rebound. The shot taken by Brad Weiland. Rudisill to Harrison, loses it. Picking it up, number 15, Hans Klinger. Aaron Cooper loses it. Townsley spins away on the floor. Goes right into the arms of Shamery. It won't go down. Rudisill comes up with it. Heads up court, cross court. Good pass by Hennice. Back to Harrison. Loses it on the way up. Excuse me, that's Harrison with the rebound. Gets the bucket. He's going to go to the line. Harrison, too long on the foul shot, and they're going to get Mark Townsley as he came over the back of Klinger. No.
Number 3 in the lane.
Bill Rule says they had a lane violation. Thank you, Bill. Harrison still can't convert the three-point play. Rudisill rolls one home. (96-62). 35 seconds to play in the ball game. And Darren Hennice commits the foul. That's going to send Brett Shamery, the 5'10" senior, to the foul line. Shamery hits the first as the Eastern fans start to cheer along the way. We won 100, only 4 points away. Shamery gets 2. And he's going to take a seat as Ben Burns checks in as committees clear their bench, it looks like. Townsley cross court for Mabel for 3, too long. Kerstetter fouled in the backcourt by Matt Harrison. Down to 15 seconds. Craig is left to go down to the floor, hopefully to try and catch Ryan Smith for the post-game interview. Kerstetter has one, rim out. It's above the rim. It comes right back to him on the tap, and he hits one. Ball knocked out of bounds. Still be Eastern basketball as they will bring it in across the way. Mike Mabel to inbounds. 96-66. 7 seconds to play. Nice ahead to Rudisil. To Townsley. Caught under the basket. Blocked. The final horn goes off. The Golden Knights are going to go to the second round. 96-66. They are victorious tonight over the Middleburg Middies.
On behalf of Middleburg University, thank you for coming to the Gymnasium.
It seemed ragged at times in the fourth quarter, but Paul has handed me an interesting stat. 51 total points, but it was all academic as the Eastern Golden Knights were well on their way to a 96-66 victory over the Middleburg Middies. And there's no doubt about it, Ryan Smith, our player of the game, is on the floor with Craig Smith.
With Ryan Smith, our player of the game, the numbers are very simple, or very complex. You want to make them 36 points in a game, 4 or 5 at the foul line, 15 rebounds, a career high for Ryan Smith. John Robb last year scored 36 points against Votech, but you really carried the load during the first half here. You kind of had a Whistler kind of performance tonight.
The guy who was guarding me went over and covered John, and that left me open for some few easy shots, and I was able to convert.
I have to say this again because I continue to say it. You have uncanny ability on the offensive boards, and do you feel that's something you just naturally came by, or do you work hard at that one? Do you concentrate from the neck up on your offensive rebounding?
Well, yeah, I just try to go to the boards when the shot goes up. I just look and try to go to the boards and get position.
It's one of the best parts of your game. I really feel Ryan Smith is win, lose, or draw in the next round for Eastern. I feel you have a real good shot of winning. That you're ready to really bust out next year in your senior season. I know it's too far ahead to look at, but your work has got to pay off this coming summer.
Yeah, this summer I'm going to try to work on dribbling and a few things to make my game a little better, and hopefully we can repeat districts and maybe states maybe like this year. I don't know.
Okay. Well, there's no doubt about it. He's worked on his game real well through the first round of states. Ryan Smith, our player of the game. And Kevin and I will be back for a final wrap right after this.
96-66, the final tonight here from Millersville. And tonight's post-game show is sponsored in part by Melcor Tool and Machine Company, located at 1355 Memory Lane in New York. Craig, as we take a look at our statistics, before we came on here, you said it's a blowout on the stat board, too.
It really was. I mean, the numbers are just incredible when you take a look at them. Eastern out-rebounded Middleburg 48-26. They shot 60% from the field, 40 of 67. To Middleburg's 17 of 48 for 35%. Foul shooting percentage-wise was even at 80%. However, Middleburg even kept somewhat in the ball game by shooting 40 foul shots, making 32. Eastern shot 20, made 16. Turnovers, Eastern turned the ball over 20 times to 18 for the Middies.
Individually, as we take a look at the Middies, Tim Lewis leads the way with 17, 7 of 7 from the foul line. Keith Goodling with 12. Dwayne Smith with 11, Bill Shirk with 11. Over on the Eastern side, Ryan Smith, our player of the game, career high 36. Robb gets 20 again tonight, 23. And Riekert chips in with 18. And it's been those three guys throughout the district playoffs, along with Knob and Abel, that have carried the load, and it's not getting much better for Eastern in this.
Exactly. They had the balance that they needed tonight. I could sort of sense it from John Robb even being down here on the floor at the end of the game. He wasn't quite satisfied with his ball game, so they're going to need him full force next game. Second round gets a lot tougher because you basically weed out your third and fourth place teams in the first round of states, and so it gets tougher each step that you take up the ladder, and certainly the second round for Eastern is going to be tough. But the kind of efforts they're getting from their inside players, their guards played well tonight. Riekert, I didn't notice early, but you did, and you were right on the money because his passing was very good tonight.
Tomorrow night, Eastern heads back to the practice floor. York Catholic hops in the bus. We hop into Subaru, and we head for Pottsville. We're going to take a look at the York Catholic Fighting Irish against Milton, and that should be a heck of a ball game up there from a beautiful Pottsville arena.
It's a great place to watch basketball. If you've never been there, get there, and it's a superb viewing place, but a little bit of a trip for you, Kevin. I'm going to take a rain check, as I said, tomorrow night, but I'll be back for the next Eastern game.
96-66, the final tonight here from Millersville. The Eastern Golden Knights advance to the second round of state tournament action. YCIAA basketball tonight has been sponsored by Health, the Carpet Man.